Okay, so this is February 22nd, 2014. We are here at the Shinnecock Museum in Long Island, New York. My name is Nick Higgins. I'm from the Brooklyn Public Library and the Veterans Oral History Project for the Library of Congress. I'm with Cassio Norwood from Southampton, New York. Cassio served in the U.S. Air Force from February 1959 to February 1967. Highest rank was Staff Sergeant and was involved with the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, that was in 61, 62, I believe. Um, it was in 61, I believe. We were, I was at 5th Bomb Wing, Travis Air Force Base, and we had our B-52G models. And
Okay, I'm sorry, you were saying about the Cuban Missile Crisis and also Vietnam.
yeah, well, with Cuban Missile Crisis, about 61, I think it was. 60, because the president died in 63, so it was shot in 63, so it was about 61, 62. 5th Bomb Wing, Travis Air Force Base. I was getting off duty about 4 o'clock. Next thing I know, the alert sounded. And when the alert sounded, everything's helter-skelter. The planes have to be up and armed, and then they all go on alert. And everybody goes on 12-hour shifts. So I was saying, oh, another operational readiness inspection, what we call an ORI. Another exercise. Oh, geez, what's this going to be? Another exercise. So next thing I know, everything is going on alert. All the planes are going on alert, not just a couple. And the base is closed down. Everything's going to secrecy. And he says, "What's going on?" And then we found out that the Cubans had missiles, and this is going to be an all-out war. And I got real scared. And the president came on the radio a couple of days, on TV a couple of days later, talked about the crisis, and says, "Oh, this is the start of it." And everything's calmed down, everything went back to normal, but for a while there, it got real scary. And the next big crisis was, that was it. Then we went to Vietnam, and at that time, I was in Puerto Rico in 63 to 65. And we were starting to go into Vietnam then, and the people were, they wanted helicopter pilots, and Army wanted everybody out, wanted a lot of people, and it was getting real scary. And I didn't like being shot at, so I stayed away from the Army, stayed with the Air Force. And then in 66, it was really going full bore in Vietnam. At that time, I was in Ellsworth, South Dakota. We were with B-52D models, and we were deployed to Guam for 6 months. In our deployment to Guam, the planes were flying over Nam, making their bomb runs from Guam to Nam and back. And they had just started putting planes in Thailand to fly to Vietnam and back to Thailand. So all those planes were uploaded with regular bombs, conventional bombs, and it was scary. They went over there fully loaded with bombs and came back empty, really laid waste to them. And I really didn't think much of what was going on over there. I knew we had a job to do, and everybody did their job generally, but what was the after effect? What were we thinking about? And I want to leave to Japan and talked with a few GIs over in Japan, and they had their tour of duty in Nam and were resting up also, and they said they were grateful that the B-52s came over there because they laid a carpet of bombs down, and you could feel the concussions and feel the vibrations from it. But when the planes came over and laid their bombs down, they really appreciated it. And from that point, when I went back to Guam to go back to work, I had much better respect and pride in the work that I was doing. And then we came back from Guam and to South Dakota, and a few months later I was discharged and came home. And I went to work with IBM and kept asking about where I could go for guard duty. And the closest I knew of a SAC or KC-135s or 135 tankers was over in Jersey, and that was a little bit too far to travel for me, I thought. But there was a C-130 unit out here in West Hampton. So about 79, I think it was, I came out here to West Hampton, looked around, liked it, and joined up with the 106 Air Rescue Unit.
Yeah, they were cutting the tree down. Good guys.
Yeah, I'd like to go back. I mean, you enlisted in the Air Force. You enlisted
In February 1959. We went to, a few of us from Jamaica, went to 39 Whitehall Street down in downtown Manhattan. I believe that's been long gone. But I went down there. While I was down there, there's a couple of guys I knew growing up. They were also down there also. And we started talking, and next thing you know, we were all on the plane going to Texas. We were going to Lackland Field. And made some new friends then. We rekindled our old friendships and met some new friends. And we took the plane to Dallas, and something happened. You couldn't get to Lackland. So we took the plane to Dallas, and then went to get another plane from Dallas to Lackland. And the plane was up in the plane, and all of a sudden, I was sleeping at the time. I didn't hear it. I was sleeping, but I heard one of the engines went. It was two-engine plane. One of the engines went, and everybody got real scared. I didn't know I was sleeping, so I missed that excitement all entirely. But oh yeah, that's what happened. Oh wow, okay. I'm glad I was sleeping. I probably would be scared shitless too.
Did you? So what? Did you have relatives who were in the military, in the service, or friends that kind of appealed to you?
I was always interested in the airplanes and Air Force.
Yeah.
I was always air-minded. I grew up flying model airplanes and running model airplane engines and flying the planes. So that was, and I went to aviation high school. So my mind always was in the air.
Okay. And during the Cuban Missile Crisis, was it a general feeling that this could really happen?
Yeah.
Did you know of any? Did you have a sense that it was going to turn around and everything was going to be, or was it like suspended kind of anxiety about it?
Suspended anxiety. We knew something had to. We didn't know what. We knew something was going to happen. We didn't know what.
Yeah.
Kind of praying that everything would work out.
And then when you were in Vietnam, you said that you became grateful for the for the planes that were carrying bombs and actually laying the blanket of bombs over, right? Like you became.
When you're working, sometimes you don't. A lot of times you don't get appreciated for what you do. I mean, you're appreciated for your job, but the overall job, you're just doing your job. You know, there's no satisfaction there other than that you knew you was doing your job.
Yeah.
When I came back from Japan and heard the reports from the GIs who were actually on the ground, then I really had an appreciation for the job.
Yeah.
I really saw the after effects of what my job was doing.
Right, right. So you at the front end, you didn't really see the sort of up close what was happening.
Yeah,
when
right.
Afterwards, was it at that point? Was there a sense that the country was still engaged in the war? That there was still a broad support for it, or maybe waning support for it? I mean,
Waning support. There was always that even when I went home and leave, there was the nobody really wore the uniform then. People were spitting on the uniform, protests in the streets about the, what they call them, baby killers and everything else going on back there. So you really didn't feel that much support at home. From the guys on the ground, from what they call the grunts, you did feel that good part of doing your job.
Yeah.
But then coming home and feeling that animosity from the other people. I came home and took my uniform off and put on my civvies and went on out.
Did that make it? Did that make people in the service much more closer together, as knowing that there was like this sentiment back home that there may have been some kind of displeasure for the war or whatever? Did it make you guys stronger together, or did that play a part of it?
Didn't really talk too much about it.
Yeah. Okay. So when you went back, I mean, when you went back home, you were out in '67, right? So
there's a lot of animosity and anti-war feeling at home then, and I didn't associate it with that at all. I did my duty, and I was proud of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Did you stay in contact with anybody that you served with then after the Vietnam War?
Yeah, there was a couple of guys I stayed in contact with, but over the years that kind of dwindled out. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Any organizations? Did you join any sort of organizations?
At that time, no. Later, when I came out here with the 106, then there's a few organizations that I did join: the Air Guard Association, the Air Force Sergeants Association, and the Air Force Association. I did join them then.
Yeah. Yeah. And you went back to South Dakota then after you left the service?
No, that was in South Dakota. That was my last tour of duty.
Last tour, okay. All right. Okay.
In 28th Bomb Wing, Ellsworth. They're flying B-2s now.
Mm-hmm.
B-2 bombers, they're flying now. It was just as isolated then as it is now.
Doesn't change.
Hasn't changed a bit.
Is there anything about your military service in particular, just the during the war, during the Vietnam War in particular, was there anything that really stands out to you as sort of like an experience that?
I think the whole thing was an experience. Now that I think about it, there's a lot of things I thought I could have changed, mostly with me, but I came in, wanted aircraft maintenance, and I got it. In retrospect, I think I could have maybe taken engine maintenance or some other field.
Yeah.
But I got aircraft maintenance. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I got a good satisfaction with it. Worked as crew chief, and we got a few flights, got a lot of TDYs out of it. With SAC, you can't really get much TDYs, but at that time, but we got enough out of it.
Yeah. Is there anything that that you, as sort of like missing, anything that you'd like to talk about in terms of your experiences in the war, or even outside when you got back home? Is there anything that's any part of the story that you'd like, that especially like people to know about?
Well, like a lot of kids nowadays, they don't know. Some of the kids don't know what they want to do, and for a lot of kids, like even my grandchildren, well, even my daughter, when she graduated, well, you know, you could go in. I didn't want to go into active duty, but you could go in the reserves or the guard as a registered nurse, as a flight nurse. And she was kind of halfway thinking about it when the Gulf War started. So that ended that. And now my grandkids kind of suggesting that if you want to get something, experience, a direction, something like this too. If not as long as there's no war on. As long as there's no war, go in the Air Force or the Air Guard. It's extra money coming in. It's a direction of where you want to go in life and what you want to do, and a chance to get around and do things. But I don't push it too much because right now we've got the Afghanistan and Iraq, and I don't want to get involved in that. So I'm just keeping quiet on that now. Peacetime, yeah, I would say go in there, get something, and get a direction, get a point. But now with people shooting, so no, don't even think about it.
And you had said that you enlisted in the Air Force because you didn't want to go into, let's say, the Army.
I wasn't even thinking about the Army. That wasn't even on my thought. I like planes, and the Army didn't have much to do with planes. The Navy had a lot to do with planes, but I like being on the ground in the Air Force rather than being in the Navy or ships. So that's why I picked the Air Force. They had the planes.
Well, unless there's anything else that you'd like to talk about, I mean, I think that Cassio, thank you for
A pleasure.
sitting down with us. And
I think it was a good experience. I think everyone should go into the service. Maybe not, well, in times of war it's needed, but preferably not in times of war. Everyone should go in, get a direction, get some feeling. If you're feeling lost, wondering what to do, it's a good backdrop to a little basis or a backdrop into doing something.
And it's better to do that when you're young, I guess, and that's
Yeah.
what it provided for you.
Right. Gave me some direction of what to do and a way to go.
Okay. Thank you so much for for speaking with me about it and inviting us to this beautiful.
Glad to have you. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Thanks for the experience.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.